welcome back to the channel, and today we have the second part of what was the first part of this battle. Back in the realm of beasts, the forces of the Moonclan have taken over the encampment. We have built terrain to represent the encampment. Coming at them will be the Brayherds, seeking revenge for their lost comrades. To represent the scenario we've made, the Brayherds will automatically get turn 1, but the Moonclan will get a +1 bonus to their turn 2 initiative roll because of the warning coming from the tower. This battle again is taking place in the realm of beasts. We will see who will win. Will the Brayherds take back the encampment, or will the Moonclan keep the encampment? To represent the Gors attacking and the furiosity of the charge, whenever the unit dies, for the first time they die, they'll automatically come back on their board edge. But for every time after that, they will come back on a 5-up if they get wiped out, just to represent the attacking power, either a 5-up or a 4-up, we haven't decided yet. And the Squig's force is 3 squads of 5 and 2 Grot herders. So we will see who will win in Brayherds turn 1. At the end of Brayherd turn 1, they have just advanced, not being able to do anything. These spikes here are represented as being dangerous, so whenever a model or models run through it, you roll a d6 for each model. On a 5-up, they have to take a save, or they will suffer a mortal wound. And now we will move on to Moonclan turn 1. At the end of Moonclan turn 1, everything that can move forward and run has done so. These squigs rolled a 6 for their run, so they got to move 11 inches up. They'll most likely be coming around for the flank of the Brayherds, and the other two lots of squigs only rolled 1s, so they've only just shuffled up. Now we'll roll off for initiative. I get +1 to this just to represent these guys going nuts. So we'll do this on camera. Okay, rolling. So Isaac gets a 1 and I get a 3. So we'll now be moving on to Moonclan turn 2. So at the end of the movement phase for Moonclan turn 2, these squigs have come round 5 inches, and they need to make a 9-inch charge into these Brayherd. This other unit ran 1 inch. No, they ran 2 inches this turn, advancing up their flank slowly, and this squad has stayed back just in case they're needed later in the game. I'll roll this charge on camera, as it is quite an important charge. They can re-roll this because they're within a few inches of the herders, so they need a 9. That is definitely not a 9. Re-rolling the charge, and they still fail with a 7. We'll now move on to Brayherd turn 2. At the end of the movement phase for Brayherds turn 2, they moved up to just outside 3 inches of that squad of squigs over there, and they made their 3-inch charge with an 8. So we'll now see what happens in the preceding combat phase. In this appalling roll, their first hits of the game, 11 attacks, hitting on 4s, missing 10 of the hits with 1s and 2s. He has 1 hit, wounding on a 4. And he fails to wound.
I want to die.
I get 5 attacks back with my squigs, hitting on 5s. I get 2 hits,
Okay. Not the best.
wounding on 3s, with 1 wound and a 5-up save for the... They fail their save, D3 damage.
Oh.
1 damage, so they lose 1 gore. So the Bray Herde's taking initiative for turn 3, choosing to go first, and they'll more likely than not attack the squigs, hoping to do better than what they did last turn. We will see as time goes on what is waiting for them in this combat. So at the end of Bray Herde's turn 3, they lost
Oh no.
3 gores, and I lost 1 squig. There were no losses to Battle Shock. We'll now move on to Moonclan, turn 3.
Oh.
At the end of the movement phase for Moonclan, turn 3, these squigs have come round, hoping to reinforce the squigs over there, but we shall see if they can make their charge. They roll an 8, which will get them in. At the end of the appalling combat, the squigs charging in and just biting into armor and nothing else, they were unable to wound any of the gores. Same with the squigs already in the fray. More likely than not, they are tired from the ongoing combat. I have won the initiative roll and will be going first in Moonclan turn 4. At the end of Moonclan turn 4 movement phase, all that happened was the herders have come round behind the spikes and are giving their +1 to hit buff to this unit of squigs. So we'll now move on to combat in the Moonclan turn 4. So at the end of that combat, the squigs have killed the rest of those Bray Herd, but the Bray Herd, not willing to give up that easily, have managed to call in reinforcements for this next turn. On turn 4. After this, we'll roll a dice whenever they die, and on a 5-up, a diminished unit will come back. We'll move on to Bray Herd, turn 4. The Bray Herd, at the end of Bray Herd movement phase, moved up into 6-inch charge range of these squigs, but rolled a 5 for their charge distance. Will this be the downfall of the Beastmen, or will the squigs trip over themselves as they try to make it into combat in Moonclan turn 4? At the end of turn 4 for Moonclan, squigs have moved just outside 3 inches, and those squigs just outside 4. I'll roll the charge for this first squad. Double ones will fail. They make it in with a 6. The second squad will now charge, and they make it in with a 7. I will now choose to go first with my squigs in combat phase for Moonclan turn 4. At the end of Moonclan turn 4, there was 1 wound dealt to the gores, and they lost another in Battle Shock. I lost the entirety of the other squig unit. We will now see what happens in Bray Herd turn 6, so they have won the initiative roll-off. Sorry, that's Bray Herd turn 5. At the end of Moonclan turn 5. No, at the end of Bray Herd turn 5, sorry. The Moonclan have done severe damage to the Bray Herds, killing off 3 of their unit, and then them losing another 4 to Battle Shock. We will see what happens to this foe render in Moonclan turn 5. At the end of an appalling Moonclan turn, they lost 1 squig to the foe render, but the other 3 fleeing at the sight of seeing one of their number massacred. So there is 1 squig left to take on this foe render. We'll now roll for initiative to see who gets to go first in turn 6. It is Moonclan going first in turn 6. We will see how this plays out. In Moonclan turn 6, charging and movement phase. These squigs that were in reserve have moved up and around and attempted to charge this foe render, but failed their charge. The squig herders have made it into combat. I will now strike with the squig hitting on a 4, failing to hit. The foe render will now strike at, are you gonna hit the squigs or the
squig? And I fail.
He fails. I now have 2 attacks from the noisemaker, hitting on 5s, both missing, and 1 from the prodder, hitting, but failing to wound. This was a sad combat phase for the Moonclan, and we will move on to Brayherd turn 6. At the end of Brayherd turn 6, there was no damage done to either of the parties involved. We will now move on to Moonclan turn 7, and the game may end. At the end of Moonclan turn 7 movement, these squigs have moved into charge range and need a 5-inch charge to get in. They get it with a 10. We will now see if the foe render can survive this combat. At the end of turn 7 combat phase, Moonclan turn 7, there was no damage dealt to anyone involved. The game will end after Brayherd turn 7, as we are running out of time. We will see what happens in turn 7. And that's the way the battle ends. The Moonclan, more likely than not, receiving a victory as the final Brayherd flees from the battle. He attempted to call for reinforcements, but his calls were not answered. Maybe he'll be back with more, but only time will tell. This is how destruction wins the day. Just wanted to say thank you for my opponent again, Isaac. Again, the armies are still a work in progress. I've done a lot more painting today, so that should be good. Isaac's army's coming along too. He may be putting progress videos on his channel, I'm not too sure. I know that I'm sort of using this as a progress update, but yeah, so leave comments on what you think of the models. And yeah, so that's a victory for the Moonclan, and a pity we didn't get to test out the mechanic of the reinforcements, but we just ran out of time as no one was dying. And we have the handshake, awkward left hand handshake, and yeah, again I'll drop his YouTube channels in the description. And yeah, hopefully next time you see this terrain, it will be painted. We spent a little while today building it up. I mean, it looks pretty messy, but it'll do. Looks alright. And yeah, so hopefully this battle report was all good. And hopefully you've been enjoying the narratives. We've been trying to add a little bit of stuff into them. But yeah, so cheers, have a good one.